Hi everybody and welcome to the System for Success Rhino Group online training webinar. Great to see so many new people on tonight. And the reason I don't have the PowerPoint already loaded is because the first page is recognition, and I wanted to be a surprise. There's lots and lots of recognition coming up, and the team is going forward like a rocket going to the moon. That's absolutely phenomenal. But tonight's training is going to be called Going for Gold. But before we do the training, as you know, I like to do the recognition, and I hope you aren't too shy, ladies and gentlemen who are on tonight. But I want to start off with the welcome rewards, and Cindy Greens has received her first welcome reward in £150. It's actually over 150 because there's a PayPal payment from Ireland still waiting to go through, but it's over 150 in sales. And Cindy only joined a week tomorrow, so our online shop, if I remember, Cindy didn't get up and running until last weekend, and the books are out to friends and family. So congratulations, Cindy, to achieve that in your first week is absolutely fantastic. Now Paul and Emma G make me laugh because they were having a debate with Francis and Heather that they hadn't achieved it, but they actually have achieved the first welcome reward and the 30-day welcome reward. And I'm sure somebody will let me know when they started, but they've only been in the business a few weeks, so absolutely fabulous result. Well done. It's less than 30 days anyway, because it's the second part of the reward, which is 600 in sales. And Ellie Kilpatrick, who has been in the business just slightly over, launched her shop 3 weeks on Friday. That's when she launched it, or it might be 4 weeks. I think it's 3 weeks on Friday. And both Paul and Emma and Ellie Kilpatrick have achieved 600 in sales in a 30-day period, which is the second welcome reward and 2 free retail packs. So congratulations to you guys. Well done. Absolutely brilliant. And also congratulations, we've got a copy here of Janet Downey's first bonus check. So congratulations, Janet. And we were just talking earlier, and you've told me the business, if I'm right in saying that's a 2-week business. I have to go back now there quickly. Janet Downey, yep, 2 weeks in the business, I think. Correct me please if I'm wrong. First bonus check, £186, 85 pence in 2 weeks in the business. Hi John, good to see you online. I will keep chatting through the training though. Heather Smith and Shona Scott, both, there's Shona there. Shona's achieved her 10% bonus, and Heather and Fran's team, and Heather Smith and Kate and Tom's team has achieved her 10% bonus. Now everybody on that is really new in the business. We'll be lucky if anybody's more than a month. Some might be in their second month. But wow, I have watched this check grow from 150 odd in their first 2 weeks to 250 to 370 to 470 to £727.31. A massive congratulations to Heather and Fran, or Fran and Heather, whichever way you guys prefer it, on achieving the 18%. And if you're just new, ask your sponsor to explain what that is. But that is a part-time bonus. Francis works full-time. He's got a very demanding job, and up until recently Heather was working, and now they're flying unicorns. Congratulations to your team as well for achieving the 18%. Gold is the next step, and I will point out that they only got started, I said the end of May, but it was the end of March. So they went from £150 to £727 in 20 weeks. It's absolutely brilliant. So you should be smiling. Well done guys, absolutely so proud of you. So I know that many of you tonight are going for gold. Now some of the new people, like Ellie and Cindy, Janet, etc. Emma and Paul do know what it is, but some of the new people might not know what gold distributor is. But basically it's a turnover of around about £9,000 with a team, but the most important part for you is you get an additional 16% bonus on your own sales, and you will receive a volume profit bonus from your team. And that cheque of £727 that you've seen for Heather and Fran is partly personal retail, good personal retail because they're doing online and catalogues, and partly team. So don't worry if you don't want to go to this stage at this time, or maybe by the time I've finished the training you will. But I want you to answer these questions. Just as we go through the training, I'm going to have a few questions. Do you have your reason for doing cleanies written down? And if you've not got a pen or paper with you, you'll be able to give me the answers by typing it. Yes or no? Do you have your short term, medium term and long term goals written down? I knew you had, Heather and Fran. You don't have to answer me, you can put it on a bit of paper, but it is important that the answer to that is yes, because we're talking about gold distributor as an income. Brilliant, Cindy. Doubly excited about it, Cindy is. That I know that Cindy writes things down as well because I'm working directly with Cindy, and I know that Ellie's pretty organised as well because Jane and Ellie are both organised. Right, if you want to achieve more than just £200 or £300 out of the business, you need to be serious about it. Now that doesn't mean spending hours and hours in the business. This is a part-time business. Heather and Francis earn that part-time in the business, but you need to be serious about it. You need to be determined to hit that goal, and you need to be committed to the time and to the business. These are the three important things if you want to achieve that goal. And this is a saying I heard a long time in the business, and we've just had a Clooney's conference in Gala. And even the people who weren't there, I can tell, are excited about the business. Enthusiasm is catching, and everybody's catching on fire with enthusiasm. But I heard this saying when it says, we're all enthusiastic after the weekend, we're all enthusiastic now, but commitment is something that you do after the mood in which you've set it in has left you. So once all the excitement for the weekend and all the photographs and all the recognition, or you maybe put your catalogues out and you get a bad pickup, or you maybe speaking to people and nobody wants to join that particular day, or for 2 or 3 days, or maybe longer, or you maybe get a dry spell online. Commitment, you have to do it through good, through bad. You just stick to your system. And everybody knows my favourite saying, success, a few simple disciplines, practiced daily, accumulated over a period of time. But you'll be glad to know, especially the new people, who are always, every single one of you on here tonight, new, have all hit targets and achieved amazing things in your first week or two in the business. And the team building is just the same. It's just an extension. Your attitude is the only difference between success or failure. We say 90% attitude, 10% skills, but I think it's no skills, it's attitude, because all the training's online. All you have to be able to do is work a computer. So I suppose that's a skill. So tonight, I've been saying to a lot of people that the business is really exciting. I've never felt this excitement as much until then, February 1993, when I first started. I actually joined in August 1992, but apart from introducing a couple of people, I didn't do anything until February 1993, because my boyfriend I was living with at the time was seriously ill. But by the time February came, I was absolutely broke. I was pawning my jewellery. I opened the fridge, there was nothing in the fridge, and I had shared custody with my ex-husband of the children. And I'll tell you a little bit about my story, but this was my first 3 weeks in the business. And what I will tell you, I didn't want to do Clean Easy, and it was only catalogues back then, and I'm not really sure if I believed in it. But someone had shown me circles, and that's what I'm going to show you tonight, circles. Someone had showed me the circles, and then I seen the products, and I would buy loads from it. So in the first 3 weeks, there was a retail, just a blanket drop of 150 catalogues, 3 times a week, and the turnover was £1,500. But I also brought in a colleague from direct sales called Robert Craig, which is called Warham Market. I brought in a chap called John Birch with putting flyers, just handing flyers out. I think we actually handed it to him in the street. And a little shop ad brought in a chap called Lewis Foster, who at the time was a quantity surveyor. And so the business turned over 3,500. At that time it was an income check of £564 in my first 3 weeks in the business. Now I spoke to people that I knew. As long as you've got a pulse, I'll speak to you about the business, because people will lead you to people. The following period my personal retail increased, 1 because it was a full period, and 2 because I was starting to strike off non-buyers. Robert Craig, the chap who came from direct sales, turned over 1,500, John 1,000, Lewis 1,500, Hightower, he was 6'7", David, Hightower turned over 1,000, customer that we'd brought in turned over 500, and another colleague, this was in direct sales, Jason Macdonald, turned over 1,000. And Jane White knew Jason Macdonald, but Jane wasn't in the business there. And that was a gold business, and that earned us just under £2,000 every 4 weeks. So that particular 4 weeks, because it grew, and I'm just going to go to the first year, to 6 gold distributors within 1 year of joining the business. And the one thing, now for the new people, what a market is simply people you know. People you know trust you more. This business really is about building a rapport and getting to know people so we can help them to make money. If you already know them, you can help them to make money. And this is a system that Heather and Fran have followed so far. If I'm right, I believe it's all Warham Market. Gavin was gold and beyond. Gavin's business was a monster, but I'll show you a bit about Gavin's in a minute. Jason Gold, Debbie and Graham. I met Debbie when I worked for the RAC, took a job part-time. Hightower was gold. Ewan Morrison was what we call fish pond training, which I'll chat to you about in a minute. And Alan Wood was an advert. And we also brought in just after that a chap called Ray Wilson. That was an income of over £4,500 every 4 weeks within 12 months of joining the business. And we don't have Facebook. It was much harder. I know you get the sob stories from our parents. Oh, it was much harder in our days. And we say to my kids, we didn't have tellies, and well, we had a black and white one, and we didn't have a phone in the house, and 50 pence meter, and black and white telly, and now they've got everything. Qualified for Hong Kong in that first year in the business. I started off clean easy in a 1-bedroom flat. I was pawning my jewellery to survive. I was so broke I had to go to income support and get what they call a crisis loan. And that's when I joined Clean Easy. I borrowed the £25, and yes, it was £25. There's my flat. It was £25 then, and I got 50 books in a cheap suitcase, a briefcase. And I was driving a B registration Sierra. I was completely broke. I couldn't look after my kids properly. And that's quite embarrassing to admit, but I'm used to saying it. I need to change the car. It's a grey one now, but I need to go back to red. This is here because that's the goal board. The next one's going to be either a red Saab or a red Audi. But this is what Clean Easy did for me. I joined in 1992. I was in a 1-bedroom flat. I moved to a 3-bedroom house, and then I moved to this house. It's a 7-bedroom detached Cala house, and Clean Easy gave me that. And I've only recently sold it because I had a whole family in it, and then it was me and 2 chihuahuas. So it was like a little pea in a tin can. But I prefer old property, and I'm now one of the properties, because I'm actually lucky to have another 2 properties that I own that my children live in. But the property I'm living in at the moment is an old cottage. I love it. I love old property. It's just a little bit on the small side. So you'll see a new picture going on the goal board. Now, for the new people, the reason that we show you this is not to show off. It's to show you what Clean Easy can do. And all you are doing is showing other people what you've done. So Cindy and Ellie and Janet and all the new people, Paul and Emma, just don't want to miss anybody out, David, Colette, Heather, Fran, you're already doing it. You know, it's just a matter of showing people what you've done with our help and support until you're independent. And, you know, I could tell you anything, but I'm showing you these some newspaper articles there, simply just to back up my story. Had a lot of newspaper stories. I've even been on the TV. The granddaughters think I'm famous. My 15 minutes of fame. It's not about the fame. It's about what I can give you. But, you know, you've got to get excited. Enthusiasm sells. The last 4 letters of enthusiasm are IASM. I am sold myself, which means that you believe in the business. If you don't believe in the business and it doesn't work for you, it's not going to work for anybody you introduce, because you're going to show them failure. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that. You need to have a plan. So get excited, get a plan from the person who introduced you, and basically the bottom line is the only thing that will stop you is you and the actions you take or the actions you don't take. It's as simple as that. But another question, as I say, you don't have to answer out loud. I know some of the people I work with personally. Do you use a daily and a weekly and a monthly planner? Never, sometimes, and always. You don't need to guess the answer. It should be always. Could you see? This is called the 6 P's, proper planning. I knew I was going to muck that up. Thank you, Janet. Well done. That's brilliant. And I know that Helen and Fran do, and I know that Jane and most of you guys do. But this video training will be going out to a lot of people who don't. So we'll try again with the 6 P's. I learned this first of all from an army guy, but I won't use the word that he used. Proper planning prevents pretty poor performance. So that's the first tip. We always say success leaves clues. So where do we find these people? I'm not going to go through all the ways to find them. Each training's online, and you just need to speak to your sponsor and they'll send you the training. But this is kind of what you need to be looking to do. You want to speak to everybody that you know about the opportunity, online and offline. Please do not prejudge. People lead you to people, but you don't know who's going to be interested. You absolutely don't know. Who would have thought Jane White and Jim White, earning over 40,000 odd a year, and she was a bank manager, would have been interested in Clean Easy? So please don't prejudge. Send information to everybody you know, and start to take a note of your customers who you're sending information to, because we're getting new customers every day. Set up a Facebook. Use the 3-foot rule. Now what is that? Talk to everyone. Chloe, my best pal's daughter, Chloe Green, asked me for a character reference, and the guy phoned me and I pitched him. I pitch everybody, if they've got a pulse, speak to. He sounded really excited, but he's not got back to me. But if they've got a pulse, just say, I don't suppose you know anybody who's looking for a part-time business or a part-time income. That's kind of a warm market and what we call 3-foot rule. I was coming home for a flight on Sunday for Birmingham, and I chatted to the woman next door called Morag, whose son's 26 and needing work. So keep yourself armed with cards and flyers and look for opportunities everywhere you go. And you can put up little shop ads. I looked for a job in a shop ad. I've said that before. Hand out flyers as you go along your daily business. Just talk to people. You'd be amazed what you found out, especially if they're trapped on a plane, a bus or a train. And look for lookers. I'm looking for people who want to make money. And to be fair, we call this rods in the pond. Because if you go fishing with one fishing rod, you'll catch one fish, or the chance to catch one fish. If you go fishing with 2 rods, you've got a chance to catch 2 fish. If you go fishing with 10 rods, you've got a chance to catch 10 fish. So basically, the more rods in the pond, the more people you'll get into the business. Now, I'm going to use this little story about the pearl divers, just to explain how it works. Now, do you think they go deep sea for to get their pearls? They find one and then they cradle it on their hands and then they look after it and they be kind to it and they care for it and it'll grow a pearl? Do you think that's the way it works? We know it's not the way it works. My granddaughters would probably tell you the way it works. Or maybe 2 and nurture them and see if we can get a wee pearl out of them. If it's surely, if we look after them enough, we'll find a pearl. When the reality is, the only way that your pearl diver is going to get a pearl is by diving down there and searching through all the empty shells, and then you'll find a pearl. So when we're putting the catalogues out, we're putting through lots of doors to find our pearls, the customers. When we're doing our online Facebook, in our own group, we're putting our ads out there to find our pearls, our customers, and our pearls, our prospects. But you need to do more than just 1 or 2. It's all about numbers. And then what do you do after that? Repeat it. Numbers, numbers, numbers. It's what we call a numbers game. Sin a loa sounds like a sin, but it simply means safety in numbers and the law of averages. Safety in numbers and the law of averages. It doesn't say the maybe of averages. It doesn't say the perhaps of averages. It actually says the law of averages. And that's something that I remember really sinking in when I first heard that. The law of averages. It's a law of averages. So if we work with enough numbers, it will work. Speak to some people, you will get some people. Speak to a lot of people and you will get a lot of people, whether this is customers, online, offline or prospects. Speak to some, you'll get some. Speak to a lot, you'll get a lot. Simple. Everything works if you do enough of it. I've heard people say, no, I put adverts up and I didn't get any reply. You maybe said it to me. But just keep putting them up. I put books out, I didn't get an order. That happens sometimes, especially if you're only working with a small amount of books. If you're only putting 30, 40, 50 books out, we recommend you knock on the door and hand the book out. Because, you know, we're only getting an average of £1 a book. So if you're working with a small amount of books, then it will take longer, but it's just a numbers game. But that also includes a negative attitude. That also works. So if you've got a negative attitude, that'll work. The business won't work. But thankfully, tonight, we're speaking to the converted, because the people on here are the people who know what I'm saying. You can make money or you can make excuses, but you can make money, but or you can make excuses. I've duplicated that there, but you can't do both. And the reason I'm pointing out to you, you are going to get people who will make excuses. Well, I've heard some of the stories tonight, and I happen to know for a fact that Janet is a very, very, very busy lady, a very busy lady, and is squeezing in clean easy. And Janet achieved her 10% in her first 2 weeks. So it's down to attitude and goals, and if you want it. The successful people in Clean Easy are not successful because of who they are. It's because of the action they took. And you can take exactly the same action, and it's all in the system for success training, or whatever training you're using. If you do what they did, you will get what they got. And for the new people, I'm going to show you some of Clean Easy's top earners. This is Gavin Scott. He earns probably in the region of 200,000 a year. One of Clean Easy's top earners, the top 3. This is his friend that he knew before Clean Easy, called Bob Webb, and that's my handsome son there, Lee. Bob Webb, who is the top earner in Clean Easy. Oh, I don't know what he's earning, 300,000 a year plus. This is his Ferrari, one of his many cars. And this is Alan Muffet. These are Gavin's 2 biggest teams and make up nearly 90% of Gavin's business. This is Alan and Elaine Muffet when we were in Florida Keys. Gavin was a shipyard worker with no O-levels, and he's dyslexic. Alan, I don't know if he's got O-levels, and Elaine. Alan was a shipyard worker, Elaine's been a cleaner. Rob Foster, you've seen his videos, he's earning over £30,000 every 4 weeks. He was a shipyard worker. Gavin spoke to his friends about the business. His friends' success have created his success, and his success have created his friends' success. So the great thing about this business is the only way that you can be successful is by helping other people make money. But success certainly does leave clues. Speak to people you know. Speak to anybody if they've got a pulse. People lead you to people. My friend Stuart was laughing at me because I was telling the 91-year-old man about the internet. He told me he tried the internet. So there, Stuart, he tried the internet. He didn't like it. But there's 90-year-olds. The more that you learn, the more that you're going to earn. So how we learn this is by keeping in touch with the person that introduced you. Communication is the key to success. Studying these groups. I've got the Rhino group, and Jane's got her White Rhino group, and Kate's got Tom and Kate's group, and the unicorns have got the flying unicorns, and David's got his powerhouse turtles. Communicate with your team. Keep in touch with your team. Keep in touch with your sponsor. The meetings and trainings, online and offline, is what's going to teach you the business, and learning that system. The more you learn, the more you earn, and you just learn at a stage at a time. It's called personal development. And the sizzles are what we call little trainings, and that's a book by Don Fiella. It's called the 45-second presentation, or Own Your Own Life. This is how you learn the system. This is the key to success. Personal development, goal setting and attitude, and in retail, sponsor and teach. So, are you reading personal development books that will change your business and your mind, your way of thinking? And as I say, you don't have to answer this out loud. Just write down yes or no. Always. Brilliant, Janet. Or was that the last time? I think that was the last time. What are you reading if you're not? The Sun, the Times, the Personal Development, Mills and Boon, Sabino, Reader's Wife. And what are you watching? TVs, videos, computer games, Facebook gossip. People say they don't have time, but they spend time on these things. I hope number 6 was personal development. Now, the other reason that my business moved so fast in the early stages was because I believed I'd found a gold mine. Once I seen the circles and I seen the products and I knew that I'd buy loads for that catalogue, I thought I'd found the gold mine. Do you believe you found the gold mine? Because I promise you, you actually have found the gold mine. There is no business like this out there, and we're launching to go all over the world. ¡El Viva España! ¡El Viva España! I can't sing very well. But that's only the start, and there's plenty of room in the UK. But you've got friends who know friends in Spain. Let's start to ask them. But if you believe you found the gold mine, then you just might get that excitement going like a lot of you have on here. I know the excitement of everybody that's tuned in tonight is already there, but this is going out generically to your teams on a video. If you believe you found the gold mine, share it with everybody. Friends, family. I want my family to be in the business. I want this opportunity for them. It's the most amazing opportunity in the history of the world, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Now, just before we go, I'm running slightly over tonight, but I just wanted to show you this quick video. And it's making me put it back in again, but it always does, but I had it organised. And this is called Using All the Rods in the Pond and More. It's called the instant Kiwi attitude. But it's about attitude. Let me just go back a slide because for the sake of the video, it is all about attitude. Did you like that one? That was actually Steve Roper's Jane from years ago at my training, and that always was my favourite wee video. But that's thinking outside the box, using your imagination. The rods in the pond are only limited by your imagination. So, you know, get these rods in the pond and use the help, support and communication that's here online, meetings and trainings. The Millionaires training's coming up. It's actually the end of October, Heather. I'm so sorry I gave you the wrong date for the team. I'll get that out tomorrow, but I'm waiting on a couple of speakers getting back to me. But it's plugging into the system. The more you learn, the more you will learn. And just learn at a stage at a time, and we'll work with you until you are completely independent in the business. Thank you very much for your time. And I'll now just go on to let you know when the next meetings and trainings are.